welcome back. Good night. Good evening. This is Peter Taaffe at the Dirty Verdi Podcast. Thanks for joining us this evening with co-host Kyle Herbert. Thanks for joining us, Kyle.
Oh, Pete, I'm just happy to be here.
We are missing Bill Ogden for a second straight episode. So Bill is actually doing work of some kind, allegedly.
We're BO free.
Yeah. So we are joined by one of the most well-known lawyers, I would say, in the city of Houston.
Absolutely.
Chi Nguyen. Thanks for joining us, Chi.
Thank you for having me, guys.
And why I say best known because the push and win, billboards, marketing, television a little bit, social media marketing is probably one of the most, I'd say, famous brands in Houston over the last 5 years, at least in legal. Do you agree, Kyle?
Absolutely.
And
my daughters are fans, and they're ashamed to tell people that I'm a lawyer, but they get a huge kick out of that stuff.
So very creative, very strategic. Avocados at Law is kind of one of the, I mean, I think that's known nationwide. But anyhow, one of the men behind that branding strategy, there's obviously some issues going on. We're not going to touch on those. We're much more interested in Chi's background, how he got to where he is now, what he's doing now, how younger lawyers can learn from him. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for having me, guys.
So Chi, where are you from originally?
Originally born and raised Houston, Texas. My
Okay.
family, my parents immigrated over here during the Vietnam War.
Wow.
What part of town did you grow up in?
Gulf Gate, Southeast area. So right between, right off of Telephone Road, so off of 45.
Is that South Houston High?
Southeast Houston, inside the loop.
What high school did you go to?
DeBakey High School.
Oh, cool.
For health professions.
Yeah.
So
It's right by my house.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I think so. That the campus is right there attached to the medical center.
Yes.
Yeah. Like
Oh, the newer one.
Yes. Where was the old one?
The older one was off of 610. It was actually next to a psych ward.
Oh, perfect. That's all. Yeah. No, I think it's just at the end.
But where were you zoned?
I was zoned to Milby.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right. So growing up there, did you have any designs on being a lawyer as a young person?
No, I did not. What made me want to become a lawyer was actually in 9th grade when I was sued by Nike for $1 million.
What?
Okay, so you're at the DeBakey School of Health Professions, probably interested in being a doctor.
Well, my parents wanted me to do that. Yeah.
So you're 9th grade, wanting to be a doctor, and then all of a sudden you get sued by Nike.
And I noticed you're wearing a Nike hat. So, I mean, I guess you guys worked it out?
Oh, yeah, we're all good.
Okay.
We Gucci.
So what happened there, Chi? How did you end up getting sued by Nike?
So the backstory is funny because Anthony actually encourages me to tell this story more often. I actually don't tell many people this story. It was when I was in 7th grade. I guess to tell the story, let me give you a little backstory. I come up from a family of 7 kids. I'm one of 7. I'm number 3. First 6 kids are all boys. The last child is my baby sister. Growing up, we lived on top of a convenience store, and my mom worked my dad worked in insurance sales, and during the day, we would always have to help our parents. We stock groceries, clean the floors, and my parents, it was being in a small business my entire life. I watched my mom suffer. I watched the stresses as being a business owner. I watched the days that she would work all day and not be able to make any money. And that's what a lot of people that make wages don't understand about business owners. But, you see your parents work so hard. It's very difficult to ask them for a lot of things. And being a kid from the hood, one of your favorite things are Jordans. You love Jordans. And so me and my brothers, we only get new shoes once a year bought from our parents. And that was in the summer when it's back to school time shopping. We would get new shoes from there. The other time we would get shoes would be during Christmas, where our uncles would buy us shoes. And buying shoes over $100 was out of the question for 7 kids. I can't remember what it was, but I made some really good grades. I believe that at the time the state testing was called TOS test, and so I did really well in that. And I asked my parents, "Can I buy these these Jordan 18s that I found online, and this is back in 2001, 2002. These Jordan 18s, they were in a colorway that was not released to the public. Now, looking back, I knew they were fake. I should have known they were fake. They were monogrammed in brown Gucci monogram all over it. I thought it was fucking beautiful. And so I begged my parents for that, and so my parents bought it for me. And when it arrived, it came in a package straight from China. When I opened it, it was an obvious fake, and I tried to return it. And the people were like, no, we said it on our website that these are factory variants, replicas, no returns. I was like, well, shit. And so I kept it. I still rocked it, whatever. But it gave me an idea. I was like, man, this came from China. I paid $100 for this. Let me go see how this works. And so I started looking around. I went on eBay. I looked for sellers that came from China and looked for replicas for these shoes. And I finally found a supplier, and I still remember his name. His name's Gary. I don't know if that's his real name or not, but I created a
Everybody see Gary via China?
Gary from China.
I'm not sure Gary's a normal first name for most of
Shape. That's what he went by.
the first clue.
But I asked him, like, is there different quality grades to these shoes? And he said, yes, there's B grades, there's C grades, and there's AAA grade. And AAA grade would be the highest quality, like the closest to all the authentics. And so originally, this idea came to me because I just want to fund my passion for shoes. I want to be able to sell these things and buy the real stuff. So I created a website. I called it urbanfootwearonline.com. I put on there that these shoes are not real. They're not authentic. I even put it at the checkout. These are not authentic. And my return policy was also, if you have any issues with the shoes, you can always return it to us and get a full refund. I opened up, I used my brother's name. We had to open a bank account. We had to set up the credit card processing company. It's way easier today than it is back then.
Yeah, what year was this?
This is like 2000, 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, and I was 14, 15 at the time. And
I had just learned how to download Napster.
And this is also when Google pay-per-click was very new. Nobody knew anything about it, and I just figured it out real quick. All right, the keyword Air Jordan cost 10 cents per click. And so I did the pay-per-click when I was 14 at the time for my website. And, that freaking blew up. What I was able to drop ship from Gary cost me $55, where I was selling it for $85 drop ship. I never had to touch the product. It just ships directly to people. With throw in the Google pay-per-click marketing, we're getting started orders, getting 20 per day. So you can imagine, like, as a kid, like, oh my God, I'm getting all this spare money that I never had. And then it came to 100 orders per day, and it just kept going. And eventually I became one of the bigger drop shippers in the country for these fake Jordans. And then one day I get a letter from Nike. It was a demand letter. It was a return receipt requested demand letter and a cease and desist, where they're demanding $1 million. And I remember that feeling when I felt helpless. I felt scared. I was crying. I was like, oh my God, I think I just fucked my family.
How old were you?
I was in ninth grade, so I would say that's, am I 15? 15?
You should have said,
Good luck, Nike.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
See me in 3 years, maybe.
Yeah.
But I don't know any of that stuff. And so, we didn't know any lawyers. Looking back at it, it was actually my parents' friend's son's wife who was an attorney. She looked at the demand letter for us, and she calmed us down, and she was like, I'll help you guys respond to it. We'll figure it out. And from there, we were able to resolve it very amicably, and I was able to. It's settled now, so I could probably talk. I was able to, with that money. I never used the money for myself. I used that money to put my two eldest brothers, pay for the majority of their undergrad degree with that money. Did a lot for my parents as well with that. So I'm very grateful, but I will never forget that feeling that I had when I didn't know what to do and I was scared shitless, and I knew that I never wanted to feel that ever again. So I wanted to be a lawyer. But at the same time, I do remember how the attorney, my parents' friend's son's wife, the attorney that helped us, made me feel. And she comforted me. She made me feel okay. She made me feel like the world wasn't ending. And Maya Angelou has this quote: "People forget what you say, people forget what you do, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that feeling stuck with me. I even have it tattooed on my side right here. And that's kind of the motto that I always try to live by too. But that was the beginning of when I wanted to become a lawyer.
Did Nike let you keep the money?
Confidential, Kyle.
They had to pay something.
That's pretty awesome.
So was the outcome you were out of the shoe business after that?
Yes, out of the shoe business after that. I got what I wanted from it. I got to buy a bunch of shoes.
Yeah.
And the way I looked at it was I always did right by the customer. Any customer I always was not happy, just return it and give you the refund. I just eat the cost.
So did you continued into Bakey and then graduated and went to undergrad?
Yeah. So
hold on. Were you like for a brief time like an incredible celebrity at your junior high or high school for getting if I got sued by Nike for
nobody knew.
Really?
Nobody knew.
That's a shame.
Nobody knew.
Except you had the cool shoes.
I did have
because you'd get Gary would provide you with the best.
Well, I had the money from what I was doing with Gary. I wasn't wearing my products.
Yeah, you're like Nike. I use all this money to buy Nikes. Okay, you're coming out okay on this deal.
Break even proposition. Whenever I make from Gary, I spend on I give to Phil Knight.
Exactly.
All right. Was that it on the?
I think that's a crazy story. So,
okay. So you finish up at DeBakey and you go to undergrad. Where'd you go?
I went to at U of H, University of Houston. I graduated with a marketing degree. I went to Bauer College of Business. Great school. Loved my experience there. I spent most of the time at U of H just playing basketball, working out. But I met a lot of good people.
How's the marketing program there?
The marketing program is great. It's a great marketing program. I was in the sales program. I got a sales certificate. I can't speak nothing but high things about U of H's business and marketing program.
The sales deal is really good.
It's really good.
Yes.
I think that's what they're really known for.
What is that, like a minor inside the business school? I'm not familiar with it.
Some donor, I can't remember who it was, gave a bunch of money to really set that. Maybe Melvin Wolf, I think they've got an entrepreneurship.
There's an entrepreneurship program.
It's really good. It's one of the best in the country, actually. And then the sales guy, I can't remember. I think he was maybe one of the mattress companies, gave a bunch of money to really develop just sales, purely sales. So I'd commend that program to anyone, particularly in the Houston area. I think it's great for entrepreneurship and marketing sales.
I did the entrepreneurship program there, and I thought it was great because they brought in real entrepreneurs that were still actively entrepreneurs, and working, and they taught us the stuff. So I really appreciate it. I thought it was a great experience.
So was there anything? I know it sounds like you had this flash when you were in junior high, like, lawyers can really help you out. Was that kind of your plan going through U of H, or did you continue?
Yep. Yes. So absolutely. Going through the whole thing, I already knew I wanted to be a lawyer. I always knew that I wanted to open up my own law firm. And I always, from there, at the time, I already knew that I wanted to be in personal injury. And the reason I wanted to be in personal injury was because of Jim Adler. Jim Adler's commercials. Jim Adler would be on TV and he would stream, "I got my client $1 million." And then I asked my dad, Dad, how much does he make off of that? From that, if he gets his client $1 million? And my dad tells me that, the attorneys, they'll typically make anywhere from 30 to 40%. And obviously that's ignoring all the work that you have to do for this. And I'm just looking at the Benjamins though. I would have been happy with $200,000 a year or something, but $400,000 on one case? Sign me up. I'm about the Benjamin. So at the time, that's all I cared about. I was like, I want to be able to provide like that. I want to be able to make a bunch of money.
And so where'd you go to law school?
I went to South Texas College of Law. I couldn't speak more highly of that law school. That was actually my best experience, my best schooling experience ever.
Did you go straight through from U of H to South Texas?
Yes, I went straight there.
And that's where you met Anthony?
Yep. I met
push?
Anthony. Yes, I met Anthony in law school. We were in the same incoming class. We were both spring starts um, at South Texas, and I think South Texas is the only school in U of H that has the spring start for people instead of starting in the fall. And yeah, that's where we met. We also went to study. We studied abroad together there. After the first year, I met a bunch of great people there. It's just such a great school.
Did you start in the spring because you graduated early?
Yeah. No, I started in the spring because actually, I'm sorry. I graduated. Let me think. I'm trying to think right now. I think I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head.
What year?
I graduated in 2011
From U of H?
From U of H. I started in 07. I can't remember, honestly, what the reason was. But Anthony and I, we did graduate South Texas early. We did it in 2.5 years. Not intentionally. No, that kind of works, but we did it unintentionally, finished early.
Kyle, you didn't graduate in 2.5 years, did you?
No, sir.
Yeah.
No.
I didn't graduate early from anything.
No, I kind of would ease into my academic matriculation and then also ease out, which is very methodical pace.
But did you went straight out of U of H to South Texas? Though?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I met Anthony there, and I think, did y'all go right into practice, private practice?
Yes, we opened up our firm straight out of law school. We originally, if I remember correctly, Anthony originally went into law school, and he wanted to. Both his parents are attorneys. His mom's His mom's a criminal defense. His dad's in personal injury. I think his parents wanted him to either work for somebody first or work for the DA's office. And Anthony and I at the time we were very similar in many aspects, and we connected very well. And it just seemed right that we should partner up together, and so we both agreed. And I think partnering with him helped give me the confidence to go out on my own. That's one of the benefits of having a partner. And I think I gave him at the same time I gave him the courage as well to go out on his own and believe in himself to open out. And I think that's a lot of times, that's what you sometimes need.
Was it always y'all's plan to hit the marketing side of the practice like gangbusters? Like, was that part of the original, right? Because they don't teach any of that in law school. They don't tell you how to sign up a client. They don't tell you how to keep a client happy. They don't tell you how to make $1, right? It's not an entrepreneurial school. It's a nuts and bolts practitioner school. But you guys have obviously been very successful, certainly with your marketing campaigns. Was it always y'all's idea from kickoff to start marketing in the way that in the way it grew?
Yes. The idea was always to become the biggest in Houston and eventually in Texas. I remember when we first started, so Anthony's dad gave us our first office. We shared an office. We shared a desk. It was about 250 square foot office. Whoever gets the desk is the one that gets the office first, and the other person has to sit on the couch right across from that desk. And I remember us both just sitting there, and I told him, man, I was like, I got a 5-year plan. By the time I'm 30, I want to make sure we have an office on the freeway inside the loop on my side of town. And we accomplished that when I was 28. And I also said, by the time I'm 35, I would like for our firm to be one of the most well-known firms in Houston. I'm 36 now. I'm about to be 37. I think I would like to say mission accomplished on that. So it was always part of the plan to grow. And whether it was not part of the plan to end like this, but it was part of the plan.
Sure.
And I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of the years. So the years you started was 2014?
So no. I started law school in 2011. We graduated 2014.
Okay. And so y'all started your firm then, and when
2015.
Okay, and when did y'all reach that goal of having the office there on I-45 on the
2017, late 2017, 2018, and we were only able to do that because Anthony's dad, he had funded the purchase of that. He purchased the building for us. With the understanding, like, whenever we get some money, they'll pay you back, man. Yeah. And then how we found that property is just because at the time, when you go out on your own, some of the things that people don't take for granted is that, I still lived at home with my parents. My mom would still make me meals. She actually made Anthony meals too. He would steal my lunch at the office. And so my mom would ask, like, are you eating she calls me David. She goes by my middle name. All of us have Chi in our name. So we go by our middle names, which is usually our English name. She goes, David, are you eating your food? Is Anthony eating all your food? And I'm like, yeah. I share it with him, and she starts making him a meal as well. So she started giving me 2 packed meals every day to work and bring it to the office for him and I. But so those are the little things that you have to be cognizant of. And people are, I don't know, it's more of a Western American thing to move out of the house as soon as you're 18 or whatever. But
in my situation, it wasn't so much moved out as it was strongly encouraged to
well, that's kind of the point.
leave the premises.
Yeah. And I looking back, I didn't like, well, at the time I didn't like it, but looking back at it, I'm so appreciative and grateful of that because, once you move out of your parents' house, that's when your connection with them really, really starts dwindling. And so I would still go back to my parents' house almost every day. Oh, actually, of course I'm going back to my parents' house. I still live there. And so I was going there, and then I saw this sign, big red sign of a funeral home that says for sale. I said, oh my God, this is inside the loop on 45 on my side of town. And I was like, we got to have this. But we didn't have no money at the time.
Well, hold on, let me ask a question. Did you want it to be in that location on the south side just because it was where you grew up and the community that you were familiar with? Or did you think this is the best place to sign up cases?
No, I always wanted to be there because I wanted to, you have to identify your target audience, so your target market. And I found that, the Hispanic clientele, they were more receptive to, it was easier to work with. Like for the Asian clientele, they were very difficult. They're always trying to negotiate on fees and everything. And I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do this. Like this is our fees and this is what it is. And so I'm Vietnamese, but I had preferred to market towards the Hispanic clientele. Growing up, I thought I was Hispanic, half black. I'm just from the hoods. I had a do-rag on when I was in middle school, but no, I just, the Hispanic community, that area of town, I knew best. That's where I wanted to be. That's where I wanted to establish myself. That's why I wanted to build everything for myself, build everything for my family, build everything for our business.
Did it feel weird buying a funeral home?
No. I was like, this is great.
You're like,
really cool.
Yeah, I was going to make some.
We never will. My parents, I was born and raised Catholic. I'm not Catholic anymore, but my parents are devout Catholics, and they were like adamant. And I was like, yes, please bring a priest in here and bless it. Bless it all.
That's funny.
Bless it all.
Yeah, so y'all got that building within your timeline. What would you say, 5 years from?
Yeah, we got it before I was 30, within 5 years. So I think it was in year 2.5, 3 years. At year 3.
Did y'all have other offices other than that one, or just that one?
We had at the time,
or as you grew.
Yes, as we grew, we had a satellite office in Bel Air, like Chinatown, Bel Air, and we also had an office in San Antonio.
Got it. When did the billboards and the whole concept of the creative billboards start?
The billboards, they started. The planning for it started in 2021. The execution started in 2022, in first quarter of 2022. It started because one of the hats I have to wear as one of the business owners of the firm is that I was in charge of handling all the marketing. Whether I could choose whether or not we could hire a marketing company, or I could just do it myself, try to figure it out myself. And just, I don't know if this is an Asian mentality thing or we just try to be as frugal as possible with the business. And I thought, and marketing companies, marketing agents, they're not cheap. Like, for example, to handle the pay-per-click, if you're gonna have a $100,000 budget per month on Google pay-per-click, for example, usually they're gonna charge 15 to 20% just to manage that for you. And so I took it upon myself I was like, I'll handle this for us. We don't need a marketing agency to do this. So we internalize that additional cost for the pay-per-click. But what I was noticing is during COVID, everybody was just getting that COVID money and just don't know how to act. And so they're like, oh, we got some bunch of money, so we're gonna just start throwing it at everything, and hopefully it sticks. And how pay-per-click on Google works is that it's a bidding system.
Yeah.
Whoever's willing to pay more for these clicks get the higher ranking on that. And so they were just fucking up the market for everybody. And what started as $300 per click ended up becoming $600 per click.
For one click to personal injury, lawyer, use
the more expensive keywords. Obviously, there's other keywords that are less expensive, but let's just, for simplicity, let's just talk about the main big keywords like Houston personal injury law or Houston car accident law. And those were coming out to about $500-$600 a click at the time. I don't know what they are now because I just haven't looked at pay-per-click in forever. But that wasn't sustainable or wasn't profitable or wasn't necessarily worth the juice wasn't worth the squeeze. And I wasn't going to play that game. So I had to make the decision on what other avenue we're going to do. Social media, everyone was trying to get into social media. And, I understand that ad fatigue, everybody's just scrolling past the stuff. It wasn't working the way it is. And so I just was like thinking, okay, what the hell are we going to do? And everybody, all the marketing gurus, all the marketing experts that are saying billboards are dead, blah, 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 whatever the fuck they want to say. I'm just like, man, y'all don't know what the fuck y'all talking about. Hold my beer. Let me show you how it's done. So the decision was made. I had to strategically figure out how am I going to make this work. You got to when you understand your target audience. So our target audience is Houston. Houston is a commuter city. Houston is the fourth largest city in the country. And Houston is also, I believe, the second most competitive market in PI, under second to, I believe, Los Angeles. And I'm gauging that on the cost per acquisitions for clients. Houston's a commuter city. And if we're going to do billboards, we're going to need repetition, because when we do billboards is branding. That's what you have to understand with billboards. Most lawyers don't understand that. They're expecting results right away. So when you don't even have the understanding of what it is from the start, you're going to get it wrong the rest of the way. So billboards, understand that as branding, understand that you need repetition. You have to study the market, understand your audience, and understanding your audience means if you look at Houston, it's all spread out. And to do a shot, in order to get the repetitions that you need for your ads to go into people's memory, you're going to need a whole lot of money, and not a lot of people, not even the top budgets, can't afford to shotgun all of Houston because it's so spread out. So you have to dig deeper into that. You have to dig deeper into the understanding your audience. And being a Houstonian, I understood that most Houstonians don't drive across Houston every day. We don't do that. We stay in pockets of Houston. Little pockets. For me, for example, I stay inside the 610 loop. I'm not going anywhere outside that other than a weekend trip or something. I'm not doing that. So the pocket that I wanted to go to was, let's start off where we're at. 45 South, inside the loop, between Telephone Road and the 610 loop. People think that you need to be everywhere, but you don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be everywhere somewhere. So be undeniable somewhere. And so where we're going to be undeniable is between that little strip right there off of 45, and then I studied the traffic count. I look at the traffic count. The traffic count, vehicles per day, is 250,000 vehicles there per day. So when you understand that, I'm like, okay, we don't need all of Houston. We just need a little piece. I'm just happy with a little piece of the pie. We don't have to be greedy, whatever. 250,000 cars drive there every day. If I put one billboard there, maybe 5 to 10% of the drivers will see that billboard. If I put 2 billboards there, maybe 15% of the drivers will probably see at least one of those billboards. But if I put 10 billboards going north, 10 billboards going south, all within 1.5 mile strip of 45, I can almost guarantee I'm capturing 100% of those 250,000 drivers that drive there every day. That checks the repetition mark that we need. Next would be one of the core principles, the key principles of marketing is you have to understand that people don't make logical decisions. They make the emotional decision, and then they usually back it up with logic. And I think a lot of the great trial lawyers understand that aspect as well. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
I was going to say what you just said that is exactly right. I 100% agree with you. If I could like hit a button, dropping bomb button, I would hit it, because I 100% agree with you on that.
And the quote is, people make an emotional decision and then find a way to back it up with whatever logic they create.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right.
Yeah, but exactly. And there's some people that say that's manipulation or whatever, and I disagree. That's not manipulation. That's understanding your audience. Mm-hmm. Like for jurors, that's understanding your jurors.
Mm-hmm.
It's in order to advocate for your clients, you have to understand how jurors think. You need to be able to understand the audience, so that you can meet them where they are, where they're able to process and absorb the information you have. I think the best way to advocate for your client is just to have a strong understanding of how your communications to a juror is most effective. So understanding your audience, understanding how people make decisions, understanding how they process information. Without that understanding, I don't think you're not advocating for your client in the highest form. In order to do that, you have to understand these aspects. So with that understanding of the emotional connection, we needed to have an emotional, how people make emotional decisions. I had to figure out, how do you make it an emotional connection? The emotional connection is not made through our logo. Nobody gives a fuck about our logo. The emotional connection is made through faces, smiling faces. So we put our faces, we put our ugly mugs on those billboards, and with the repetition, the manufactured repetition that we created, that created the familiarity. We were part of your morning commute. We were part of your ending commute. So the familiarity just builds through repetition. The familiarity builds trust. Then what was the next thing?
Were you guys already kind of doing the push, we push, you win before the billboards? That was part of the
billboards. Was the first time we started pushing the "We Push You Win" slogan.
Got it.
Our original slogan was, "When push comes to shove, all we do is win."
Too much.
Yes,
too many words.
I made the decision, like, no, we're not doing that on the billboard. We need quick hits. And I said, when we're going to do these billboards, we are going to jam it down everyone's throats, unfortunately. We're going to jam our slogan down everyone's throat, into your minds. And so, yeah, but how it became more effective was just also the last part that we kind of manufactured in there was being bold and truly authentic to yourself. People usually aren't happy with billboard lawyer ads. They think it's annoying. There's a negative aspect or association with that, and that's not something that we wanted to do. We wanted to make sure we have a positive emotion connected to our ads. So with boldness and authenticity, we wrapped it up in humor, because humor, it lowers people's defenses. It creates attraction. There's studies show that women find men that are funny more attractive.
Not in my case.
Then you ain't funny then.
Well,
you're doing it wrong.
That's debatable as well.
But so yeah,
so you started with the push when he's on the push side, you're on the win side. Mm-hmm. I told y'all offline, like I first noticed y'all, I think when you had the double barrel on the connector between when 45 and 59 all kind of meet up going through the medical center. That's where I first saw y'all. But I know y'all were doing that on 45 probably.
Yeah, so the 45 is the main one. The side by side, we push you in. That one that's a little that was a little psychological hack that I played. To explain that is, when you're driving up the ramp on 45 and you're approaching it, you see that on the left side we push and the right side you win. If you haven't seen it there before, usually if you're a driver, you're gonna see. Oftentimes you only see one, and the human brain hates incomplete sentences. So when you see the we push or you only see the you win, subconsciously your peripherals are going to scan. And I aided that scanning with the same color combination. So pattern recognition is going to make you easily detect that. And when I make that subconscious connection, your brain goes, we push you in. Aha, ding. You get a dopamine hit. And that dopamine hit is a positive reaction to
Chi, get out of my mind right now. I can't get it out of my head.
And so
It's true.
So we push you in, boom. You make that subconscious connection that I made you make that you didn't even realize I did. That digs deeper into your memory, followed by the next 10 billboards that says we push you in.
And so, and I agree with you on these things. We had Brian White on and we talked about his are very simple. Get Brian, get paid. Y'all's are 4 words, right? We push you in. Did y'all think we need to put a number or a website URL on there, or you just figure people will go Google you when they get home and figure out where to find you?
So what we did originally, it took time. It took time to train people's minds, train Houstonians how to reach out to us, because if you look at some of our first billboards, it was very busy. We put our slogan on there, we push you in, had our pictures on there, had our phone number, had our domain, our website. I had to get a shorter phone number. I got our vanity number, 833pushwin.com, 833pushwin. Then I also got the vanity domain, pushwin.com, pushwin.com, instead of our names, pushwin.com. Those were created for the billboards. Eventually, I was able to, now that everyone knows the slogan and everything, I was able to just put face website. Because if you want to call us, everyone goes online first to make sure you get the number. And so eventually we were able to taper it down, remove the busyness, remove the noise, and make it as simple as possible. And what became the brand, as lawyers, your logo is your fucking face. That's it. Unfortunately, you gotta understand. You just gotta fucking work it.
I'm gonna have to get some plastic surgery.
You are a beautiful man. Shut the fuck off. You're good. You're Gucci, dude.
He has great hair.
He has amazing hair.
If I could just advertise from my forehead up, I'd be all set.
So
your online profile picture, you got a baby face on there. Why don't you have the beard on there, dude?
Oh,
I've told him that multiple times.
which online profile?
I just checked
All of them.
right before I got here. I was making sure he's a personal injury.
Yeah, your website, you have your 1988.
It's your high and updated. I'll have to double.
You look distinguished the way you are.
Yeah, see.
So, so the billboards, super successful. But y'all did y'all make a conscious decision not to fool with all the social media? I mean, you said pay-per-click, too expensive. Social media is free. I know you can pay to boost and all that. TV is another option. Did y'all decide we're going to put 99% of our chips into this billboard strategy?
Yes. The decision was we wanted to go to the branding route instead of the lead gen route. And branding route, because branding is the most powerful type of marketing. Branding would enable us to cut through the noise, because if you understand marketing for lawyers, usually the last ad that the person saw is the law firm that they're going to call. That's why you see so many repetitions of lawyer ads all the time. They're just trying to be there in the moment that life happens, that they need to call a lawyer. But with branding, if you stay on top of mind when the incident happens, when the issues happen, you're already there because of your branding, because that trust is already built, because that emotional connection is already built. You're able to bypass all of that.
So if you're operating a law firm or any business, you got to be thinking, we hope this works. This is how long we're going to give it. What was y'all's schedule? Like, were you thinking we need to see returns on this branding idea within 6 months? Because you and I both know plenty of lawyers, and Peter does too, who've said, I'm going to buy these 6 billboards and I'm just going to do it. And then the billboards stay up for 90 days and then they're all gone, right?
Mhm.
Lots of lawyers have tried this and failed. What was y'all's expectation? What was your hope? This is going to stick within 6 months or 18 months? What was the plan?
I did that with no expectations of anything for a whole year. And there was no other, I guess this is how my mind works. It's like, this is because I thoroughly research everything I do and everything is very intentional. And when I've thoroughly researched it, I'm like, there's no way this fails. Sorry. It doesn't work. Well, I don't operate that way. If I did all the research to make sure it's going to succeed, it's going to succeed. Everything, I don't want to sound cocky when I say this or anything. It's just the level of confidence I had in everything that we're doing. Everything, how it all played out was exactly how it was planned. If you can ask Anthony on that too, he'll confirm everything. How it was received by Houston was exactly the plan.
And I don't know if you can say this, but what was y'all's initial year marketing budget for the billboard side?
It was incremental because we didn't have. It's not like we had a big budget from the start. No, I was only able to start from on 45, that small strip of 1.5 mile strip right there, and so I believe it started off with maybe about $100,000 a month for those billboards, and I'm very frugal. I was negotiating with these guys. There's no third party in between. It was just me and the reps.
For what are the big ones? Clear Channel,
Outdoor.
Yeah, is Lamar one around here?
No, I haven't worked with Lamar. I don't know if Lamar's. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Lamar. I don't know. I don't necessarily think Lamar is very large in Houston.
It used to be
JGI.
JGI. They have some too, but I hadn't worked with JGI.
They're based in Friendswood, I think.
Yeah, that's what I heard as well. And I'm not. There's nothing to say that I wouldn't work with JGI. They just didn't have the billboards that I was looking for.
Clear Channel had the ones in your
Clear Channel and Outdoor both.
Got it.
But Outdoor has the big one.
Okay, so you went to them, negotiated it down.
What's the big one?
The big square one, that the one that that goes viral and everything.
Where's that located?
That's right off of 45 and Telephone Road.
Okay.
Headed north, going into downtown.
It faces southbound, but northbound traffic is what sees it. So towards downtown is who sees it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So you grew it though. How many at the max? How many billboards did y'all have?
For the ones that we permed. When I say perm, that what I mean by that is we sign 1-year contracts. I would say at least 50-ish, but that's not all we were using. What I did was
they give you a discount, I guess, if you buy the whole year.
It's a slight discount when you perm it, because for obviously business reasons, they get guaranteed revenue, and for us, we were like the reps would tell me about it, and they're like, "Chi, you're so fucking easy with this stuff. Like, you guys pay on time. We don't have to worry about nothing." I'm like, just make sure you give it good shits. Mm-hmm. But I would hound the reps, and they were great. They were great because I said, "I want this board. I want this board. I want this board. I want this board." But they're like, "There's somebody on there yet?" I was like, "Okay, tell me. Make sure you tell me when it's available." And so it took time to build the infrastructure. It took time to get every single billboard, because every single one has different contracts. Everything has contracts in it this month or that month. Oh, there's going to be a break from this billboard for 3 months and things like that. So it took time to create that infrastructure. But no, to answer your question, everything, there was never an idea that this wasn't going to work. It was the idea, like, this is where we're going. This is the branding. This is why we need to brand. This is how we're going to do it. Whether it fails or not, it's still going to stay. I don't. If it didn't work, I couldn't see how it couldn't work. Even if things didn't go viral, it just still would work, because it still adhered to the basic fundamentals of marketing, which is human psychology. If you understand the fundamentals, there's no way to fail. Like the big fundamental, Tim Duncan, best power forward ever. He's the best power forward ever because he stuck to the fundamentals. All the greats, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, what do they say? Fundamentals. Nobody pays attention to the fundamentals. You could probably say that with lawyers too. To be a great trial lawyer, some of the best things you have to do is just understand the fundamentals. And you're going to be way better than most people already, because people want to rush through everything.
Well, let me ask a question. Clearly, you guys mastered the marketing side of stuff. But you then got to service those files or refer them out or whatever you're going to do. Was building the back office to sign clients up and turn those leads into money, was that harder or easier or about the same? And what was your approach to turning phone calls into actual dollars in the bank?
Okay, so that was a tiered approach. It was going through growth. It was growth stages of the firm. Whenever we understand that, I mean, we were doing very well even before the billboards, but we were building systems and processes. And in 2022 is when we brought on my older brother, who's a pharmacist by trade. He was the director of pharmacy in a hospital in Dallas. We were bringing him in to be our COO, to clean up our operations, to systematize everything in order for us to be able to scale higher. Going into this, I understood that we don't need a lawyer to systematize things. That's not necessarily what we're looking for. What we need is a person that sees things in a systemic way and knows how to operate it that way. Because at the end of the day, a law firm is just a business. So if it's just a business, it's still a business, that we have to run it like a business. We didn't have regular scheduled meetings. We didn't have huddles. We didn't have any of this stuff. We didn't have proper protocols throughout the firm. And so when we brought in my brother, it took about 6, 7, 8 months for him to understand PI a little more. And then after that, he created all the systems, created all the processes. And year over year, don't quote me on the exact numbers, but it was about our revenue would increase 25%, 30% those 3 years that he was here. And on top of that, what we don't see is how everything was more streamlined throughout the process. He took off a lot of the administrative burdens off of Anthony and I's plate. And what that allowed us to do is I got to concentrate more on the pre-lit side. Anthony's job, just like my task, was one of the hats I have to wear is being the marketing person for the firm. The hat Anthony wears is going to be the head of litigation for our firm. So throughout all the growth, there's pains, and admittedly, there's times where as a business owner, I was not proud of my product, and that hurt. It pains me to say that, I read every single bad review that we get, and then as soon as I get that review, I go like, whose client is this? Who's in charge of this? Who's in charge of this case? Tell me exactly everything that happened. And so, it's growing pains. Again, the hardest part was not marketing. The hardest remember when I said, going into this, I wanted to become the largest, we wanted to become the largest PI firm. After dealing with HR stuff, dealing with our employees, and I'm not talking bad about our employees. What was difficult is managing the employees.
Yeah.
That is the hardest part. Mm-hmm. Managing a lot of personalities, people that come from all different walks of life, understanding that we couldn't be the same firm we were when we started, a little small mom and pop shop. When the firm is smaller, we're talking 20, 30 people. Culture is easy to control there. Culture is very easy. Customer service is very easy to control. But the bigger you get, one bad apple can spread. 2 bad apples, hire the wrong person, that spreads, and it just festered. And ultimately, at the end of the day, that rests on Anthony and I. And it would go ebb and flows. It goes up and down. We fix it, it goes down. Fix it, goes down.
Yeah.
And so there's times where I'm just stressing. I'm like, what the hell is going on here, man? Like, this is not how it should go. And so, yes, the marketing side was the easy side. The harder side, the litigation side, I would also argue that's easier than managing the staff.
Sure.
That is, in my opinion, was the hardest part of growing. Is the hardest part of growing.
So we're running a little bit short on time here. What is next? What do you have cooking for the city of Houston and the legal community? What's coming up next?
So I've started up my own law firm, called the Nguyen Law Firm.
What's your URL?
Nguyeninjurylaw.com.
Okay.
Or chiwins.com for short, CHIWINS.com for short. But I'm also launching my legal tech company I'm going to be challenging myself to be another chapter, another book in my life where I challenge myself to be somebody different. I'm never going to allow my profession to be my identity. I want to be a tech bro now. So I want to be a tech bro, I guess, and a lawyer. And also challenging myself to do this social media stuff. I don't like, man, I don't like talking to a camera. So I actually don't like talking a lot. So it's another part where, you challenge yourself. Your life is just always it's always changing. And so just with, for example, when I had my son, a lot of times people don't stop and think, am I doing this right? You just go do it. You just do it, and I was raised this way. Your kid's fine, but you only got one chance. You only got one chance at this, and the first 7 years is the most important for a child's development. So military school. I don't know the answer to that. I won't comment because I don't know the answer to that. But I've done a lot of research. I spend a lot of time reading, a lot of time trying to understand children's psychology to make sure I do it right by my kid. I spend a lot of time understanding relationship psychology to make sure my partner's she's how things work, and I'm so grateful for her. She's incredibly patient. She says I'm such a great person, but I'm like, babe, you do understand you're getting the best version of me now. My previous relationships, they didn't get the best version, but that's part of life. It's part of understanding. It's part of learning what you need to do, learning what you need to, how to become a better partner, but how to become a better human. So I forgot where I was going with this.
What's next? So you're focused on your practice and your tech.
What's your
son
going to do?
If you know yet. I think of it this way. I've developed over 12 or 14 different tools. Each of those tools technically can be a company. I put it all under one umbrella, and what I want to encourage people to do is understand that we are at a certain point of humanity that is the greatest time for any type of person, any entrepreneur, any person that wants to go out on their own and do things themselves. You no longer need a huge team. The biggest flex today in the age of artificial intelligence is how lean and efficient your company can be. A team of 20 developers will outpace, out-profit, out-revenue a company that has 500 people. That is the beauty of artificial intelligence. And when people say that it's going to eliminate jobs, I say it's going to create jobs. It's going to create opportunities for people that you don't have to work for anybody. You can do it yourself. You just have to have the courage to do it. Don't be afraid of AI. In order for you to become comfortable with something, if you fear something, try to understand it more. Be curious about it more. Work with it more. Ask it questions. Just because you hate it, just because you fear it, just because you think it's going to take people's jobs, that's not going to prevent the inevitable. The internet didn't wait for anybody. The AI is not going to change it either. So whether you take a conscious, active participation into this reality that we're walking into, or you're going to enter unconsciously being shaped by only a handful of people that are empowered, that get to control it. So the more you don't get to opt out of general purpose technology, because artificial intelligence is not just for legal specific. It's not artist specific. It affects every part of our daily life. And so us as a society, us as humanity, have to make a conscious decision to understand, what is this we're doing? What is this that's going to, how can this affect us? How can we mold this? How can this shape and direct our evolution in a positive way. And if we don't do that, if we allow fear to control that, the only thing that fear is going to do is allow the ones in power to have access to something, and what we have is a baby version of it and restrict us. So we're living in a great time. You can choose to subscribe to a fear-based mentality or a loving, embracing, better future of humanity.
So it'll be Team Terminator. I know this.
Yes.
That's fear-based. That's fear-based.
So it will be an AI type tool that will help lawyers do their job, serve their clients more efficiently, and with lower overhead.
Every aspect of it. It'll help manage the cases. It'll help with communications. It'll help with virtual depositions. It'll help with virtual mediations. It'll help with Teams communications.
Whoa. Okay. Not going to put me out of work, though.
No,
mediation?
It's going to make you able to expand your operations even more.
Okay, I'm down.
We're going to have 3 virtual Peters. One in the breakout room, one with the plaintiff, one with the defendant.
Okay. Yeah, I'm good.
It's a beautiful time. It's a beautiful time where the gatekeepers are no longer the gatekeepers. Everybody has the power at the hand of you. Think of it this way: you can ask it anything, but understand that AI is just a mirror of you. If you are an idiot that doesn't know how to use AI, your AI is going to be pretty idiotic and mediocre. But if you are a technical person that understands how to use it, you know how to understand how to ask the correct question, you understand how to direct it. It is a reflection of you. That is all it is meant to do.
Okay, last question. And if you feel comfortable answering, which general purpose AI platform do you use for like searches, like OpenAI, Claude, any of the others? If you're comfortable saying which one you use on a more daily basis right now.
I don't use it for search. I still use Google for search because I don't like AI for search yet. But in terms of just general purpose usage, I find I'm still testing between, but it seems like Claude is somewhat better than ChatGPT right now. ChatGPT used to be better, but if you're paying attention to what is going, they're putting barriers to these things. Because I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, and it's closing off my conspiracies, and but you have to figure out ways to get past it. But the trick is to make these AIs argue with each other. So you use Grok, you use Claude, you use ChatGPT, you use DeepSeek, use all of them with fuck with each other, and just that's how you really get your imagination going. That's how you really get to become that's how you fully be able to embrace and understand what this tool is.
And all of them have a free version, right?
I think all of them do.
Yeah,
because they all want everybody's data.
Yeah,
they all want it's an arms race right now because they're like, this motherfucker's doing it. This motherfucker's doing it. We got to keep doing it. And they're just taking each other's information, and it's a race to it. But we got to understand that these big corporations, their fiduciary duties to their stakeholders, not to humanity. So we have to understand that these fear-based ideologies that they're pushing towards us to fear AI or not embrace AI, the only people it serves is the people in power.
There you go, Kyle. I don't think you can improve on that.
I've got all my money in Palantir. I want drones to smite my enemies, and I'm excited about the future.
Palantir's got it. Man, if anything, the part of AI that you should fear is the part of the surveillance part. That's it. Everything else is for the betterment of humanity.
I'll tell you what I fear. I'm getting emails from clients or prospective clients that are like 7 pages long. And I
drop them in the AI and it'll tell you what the summary is.
Like there's no doubt somebody gets on a prompt and says, how should I hire a good lawyer in Houston, Texas? And then they send me the email, and it's like, number one, this, the overwhelming majority of my clients don't have the patience to read, let alone draft a 7-page email. Mm-hmm. So I will respond politely. Seems like you have a lot of questions. Let's set up a phone call. But people are using AI to find lawyers.
And no, what you do is you take their questions and you put it back in AI and say, give me answers. And then you send it
give
back
it in 3 sentences. Say, give me the answer in 3 sentences.
Yeah.
It's very simple.
Or I just decline the case.
All right. Well, Chi, thanks a lot for coming on. This was kind of to me, eye-opener on the billboards, AI, everything you've done. Kind of like I said, no one has dominated the billboard space like y'all did. I don't think. I mean, Adler probably is close, but I think at least in the last 10 years, y'all have really dominated.
You know, Adler's got fewer signs, but he's been doing it so long.
He's ramped it up.
He's been doing it so long that he's got all that name recognition in the bank. So
anyhow, you guys did great. I hope everything works out. People can find you on Chi
Nguyen.com, ChiWins.com.
That's probably the easiest one.
Yeah. If you need a beta tester for your new software, I want you to know no one could be as blunt an instrument as me and Peter. Like if it can be ruined, we'll find a way to do it.
It should be. It's almost ready to start beta testing probably at the end of the month or the beginning of the next month.
All right, very good. Okay, well we really appreciate it. Thanks for coming on,
guys.
Yeah. Very good discussion. Yeah. So you know his website. Follow us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube,
LinkedIn,
TikTok, etc. LinkedIn. Kyle is about to get a LinkedIn page, and so we're so excited about that. We're gonna have a party. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. Good night.